My boyfriend refuses to ignore texts from his best friend's wife. Okay, so long story short, my boyfriend's best friend and his wife had a baby a couple months ago. Ever since, she, the wife, texts my boyfriend daily pictures and informations about their baby. And at first it didn't bother me because I wanted to see the baby as well, but she never texted me though, only my BF. Me and her don't like each other very much, so I found it okay to not text me, but she excludes me from met-ups as well. To be more clear, they live in another state, so when my boyfriend goes over for a visit, he always brings me too. It's a long ride. There's been 2-3 times when he went alone though. I had to work, and every time he went alone she let him inside the house to see the baby. But every time I'm with him she find excuses and won't let us inside. She won't even come out, only her husband. And I'm getting suspicious about her behavior. Like she refuses to see me and texts my boyfriend daily to show him her baby? Who does this? Why doesn't her husband send my boyfriend pictures with the baby? It's his child too. And I know I sound crazy, believe me, I know. But every time his phone rings she pops up and I can't stand this. I asked him to ignore her and he said he won't because it'll be disrespectful to his best friend and he doesn't want a fight. But is it though? How would it feel for him to know I speak every day to a married man that also has a child? My boyfriend even told me he'd broke up with me if I don't drop it and just leave them alone to chat. WTF? Am I the wrong one here? Whose baby is it actually? I understand people don't get along and that fine, but the way your boyfriend disregards your feeling in this matter isn't respectful to you or your relationship. 2 things came to mind after reading your post and comments. 1. Either you are an over-jealous girlfriend with control issues or 2. It's his kid. Either way there is still a lot of context missing from this post to really give advice on. Ignore the people telling you you're wrong. The whole situation is sketchy. Your boyfriend is disregarding your feelings whilst texting with her all day. This is absolutely not normal. People on this sub will always defend male-female friendships without considering that some are straight up inappropriate. Like your boyfriend's with his best friend's wife. You know your boyfriend. You know if he's behaving differently. Trust your intuition. Quite frankly, she's behaving as if it's his kid. Also, I very much doubt they're only talking about the baby. There is some kind of connection here and I'm not sure your boyfriend is being honest with you. They may have an emotional connection but he should never make comments about breaking up with you. So the foundation isn't stable and he's not making you a priority. I mean, it's great to be supportive about a friend having a baby, but it shouldn't be something you are excluded from. I would say look for more signs and be verbal about how you feel. You can't control sometimes actions, but you also don't want to bottle anything up. Everything you've said points to boyfriend being the father of this child. Is that something that may be possible, op? You have a boyfriend problem. His best friend's wife isn't respecting you and boyfriend is not backing you up. You two don't have to like each other, but you two have to be civil and polite to each other. Talk to him about it. Ask him why he is okay with her disrespecting you. Why is it that when you both go for a visit y'all ain't welcomed inside but he is when he goes without you? Well, it's just baby picture, but taken together with the other behaviors it is fucking weird. I mean, clearly something is going on with her, in her head. I am surprised your husband is not a bit weirded out about it too. In fact, his response of threatening breakup, what? Seems to hint at some kind of emotional affair. The only thing I can suggest is that you talk to her husband and fess to some of your concerns and get his input on them. Perhaps he can rein in his wife. OTOH, if this continues, a breakup might not be the worst thing. What does the best friend think of this? Does he know about this? My girlfriend went on a long late-night, friend date with another guy. The other day, I, 29 male, was getting home from work around 4 and ran into my GF, 28 female, outside my apartment on her way out. This was a surprise as it was our only afternoon off together this week, and quality time spent together is a premium ATM. She had not told me she was going out. She told me she was going to see a friend. I asked if I could come. She said no, it was for work, they worked together, and that she wouldn't be home late. She gets home at midnight. That is 8 hours spent in this guy's company. She is also very drunk when she gets home. Cut to last night, I was in the suburb they work in visiting a friend. We go to the restaurant they work at to wait for my friend's GF, who also works with my GF. The guy comes out. Now, this is a guy the first know. We have met about 3 times. One time we spent several hours together and got along well. He knows me. He avoided all eye contact and didn't talk to me. This for an incredibly friendly and social guy who, as I said, knows me. That was weird. This is weird. I don't want to flip out, but something smells fishy. Obviously, we'll talk to GF. That is tonight. But I am expecting a lot of denial and deflection, and I'm not really sure how much honesty I will get out of it. How does one deal with this situation like a sane human? She was hoping to be out before you came home. Given the amount of time she spent with him, alcohol consumed, and his behavioral changes, it doesn't sound good. I'm not saying she cheated. But she's definitely having an emotional affair or was trying to figure out how much they get along testing the waters. Edited for spelling typos. Sorry, I'm on my phone. Yep, it's sketchy. All you can do is talk to her, see how honest it feels and move on from there. You don't need proof to end the relationship, but you do need the whole story to continue it. What do? You communicate. Tell it just like you did here, and tell her how it feels. Then you listen. Not just to her verbal response, but also her non-verbal. You'll know. And if she gets mad, starts accusing you of things, or belittling what you saw and felt, you know she's trying to throw you off. The answers are there, you just have to ask. They acting suspicious usually means they doing something suspicious. I'd see if your friend's girlfriend knows anything. Sounds like you are in an open relationship, except you don't know it yet. This for all the people that say you're insecure for not letting your significant other hang with the opposite sex. If time spent together is premium due to busy life, then her priorities are off. I think it is time to talk to her about where this is going. This has nothing to do with insecurities for those fools that always say that. There are clear issues with prioritizing one's significant other over some work buddy. 10-year marriage about to fall apart, don't want it to. Hello. I need help. About me, I'm 40 and married to a lovely lady I care deeply about. We have 2 children together and we love them both very much. For the past I'd say 3 years my marriage has basically just been like living with a housemate, not a wife. I know that I've probably made a lot of mistakes too, but I can only tell you my side of the story. For obvious reasons, I'm using a throwaway as I want advice, but I don't want anyone to find out either. We got married when I was 30 and she was 27. We weren't rich, so we had a pretty, budget wedding. For the next 7 years more or less everything was great. We'd come home and hug and kiss, make love thousands of times and just have fun together. In 2015 we purchased our first house together after the birth of our first child. We had to move away from family and friends, but we both sat down and made that decision together. We enrolled our kid in school, got a dog, lived a pretty happy life. My wife and I were always very sexually active. I don't want to go into details, but suffice it to say 50 Shades of Grey was the tamest BDSM we've ever seen. We were a lot more adventurous. And we both liked it a lot. Now today, we have not had sex since about October 2019, so just gone 2 years. Now if I walk into the room where my wife is changing, she covers herself up. Like literally grabs whatever is nearby and covers up her breasts. The same breasts I've seen 1,000 times for the last 10 years, but now she feels the need to cover up. We argue all the time, about how to raise our kid, about the work we want to do with our house, about all kinds of stupid shit, and it really annoys the shit out of me. I feel like my opinion doesn't matter to her. She tells me in an argument, "You don't listen," but then she completely ignores what I say and continues to shout, "You don't listen," while she's ignoring what I say. Now, okay, some of you are ready to type. Have you talked about it? What have you done? Yes, we have. We've also gone to counseling. My wife, however, has a personality trait that I dislike, that she is always right. She's perfect, she never does anything wrong. She even says these things herself, like, "No, I'm perfect." At first it was cute, now it's not. We tried marriage counseling. I sit quietly while my wife reels off a list of what I consider petty shit. Like, oh, he woke up, and instead of making me a coffee, he made one for himself, or that I spend all my time playing on my computer. Despite not playing any games and working for myself, and my computer earns me money, pays for our house, etc. And after she's had her 10 minutes of whinging about me, I say okay, and here is what she did that I don't like. My wife responds with, "No I didn't," or that I blew it out of context or whatever. She admitted to me outside of counseling that I was right and that she will not listen to someone who asks her why she did something you and I might consider to be abnormal. So we stopped going because I felt like it was a chance for her to badmouth me, but not accept any of the things I said about her. Now yes, I am upset. But I also love her very much. I love my children too. I don't want to be separated parents. I don't want to get divorced and see my kids on the weekend. And frankly, I work and earn and she doesn't, and I don't feel like being taken to the cleaners and losing my home that I pay for. I want to fix it. I consider some of the things I said about my wife to be not nice, and I don't like those things about her, but I still love her. I know I won't ever change those things, but I want to go back to how we were before. We'd hold hands, we'd kiss, we'd make love. Now we say good morning and good night to each other, in between stuff like have you loaded the dishwasher and fed the dog? Besides the fact we sleep in the same bed, it's like living in a house share. I genuinely appreciate any advice that isn't get divorced, or separated. I want to fix it. I admit that I make mistakes. I can be lazy. I can forget to clean something. But I'm always there for her and the kids. I make sure they always have whatever they need, if not always what they want. I've ensured that we have a house to live in and food to eat my entire children's lives, and I've lost jobs and had panic attacks about how to pay for things, but I've survived. I admit sometimes I can get upset, say things I shouldn't, etc., etc. I've never cheated, I've never badmouthed her, I've always been honest. But I've done things I regret, of course. I'm not blameless here. But my wife is making zero attempt to fix anything, and when we do talk she often says, "What are you going to do to fix it?" like it's all my fault, sad face. And #X200B. And #X200B. Edit, update. I would like to sincerely thank all of you who responded to me. You've been extremely helpful, and I really think posting this has helped me a lot. But it's now almost 1 a.m. here in the UK, and I have to go to bed and get up in 5 hours. I will be checking in on the thread tomorrow. Thank you all. Continue counseling on your own. Sit down with her when the kids are asleep or gone. Ask her how she feels about the marriage. Listen. Ask what she thinks you both need to do to fix it. Listen. Ask if she will put the work in to accomplish it. Listen. Do not accept, "I don't know," you are asking specific questions. If she is negative, then ask, "What do you want to do or see happen?" Listen. Accept that this won't be easy, it won't fix itself right away. Plan on additional talks to check in with each other. Good luck. Here's something to consider. One of the few things that can fuck your kids up more than a divorce is a dysfunctional household. They will pick up on your fights and your dysfunction, and that will be their model for what a normal relationship looks like. Imagine a world where your child goes through what you're going through now. Is that what you want? Because that's what you are teaching them to look for. Okay. My first inclination was that if she was that kinky and into sex, maybe a cheating scenario. But by the end, I do wonder if you've tried the angle of being sweet and engaged. Not in a fake way, but showing her affection that isn't only around bedroom time? Telling her she's beautiful, you think about her, assuming you think she is, and actually do that. Express what she means to you. Be engaged. Cuddle without looking for sex. If you do all that, and it doesn't work, she's either cheating or asexual suddenly. Best wishes. I sit quietly while my wife reels off a list of what I consider petty shit. I am gonna take a wild guess here and say, you are not listening. It sounds like you need try a different counselor. There is a lot you two need to discuss and work through. And talk to the counselor how you feel that sometimes a session feels meaningless and just a pile-on. Maybe alternatively a trip together alone could help. A weekend away from the stress? Also, when she says you never listen, what is it that she feels that you are missing? Is she feeling lonely, distant, fat, not sexy to you? It seems like you need to get to the root of the problem. Maybe write a love letter or a letter about your feelings. Not accusing anything, but more about how you love her but have been feeling distant and want to build your bond up again. You want to go on a date night with her and dress up for dinner and make it an event for both of you. I am so sorry, sir, but you can't fix a bridge from one side. It must be fixed from both sides. For whatever reason she is behaving this way. You can do a 180 on her, but I highly doubt it works. She feels you owe her something. Are you two still doing things together? Do you ever watch films together, have a babysitter to go on dates together, even go on walks together? Tell each other jokes, tell her she looks pretty today, buy her flowers on the way home. It sounds like life has got in the way and you've forgotten how to just enjoy each other's company. Therapy and chats would be useful too, just adding another thought of something that could help. Serious talks are obviously needed, but sometimes the little day-to-day signs of affection, making each other feel valued, are really important too. It was easier to want sex when you had hours to chat and do things. Keeping the connection when life gets in the way is when challenges start. Wife reads some interesting fan fiction and I don't know how I feel about it. Long story short, my wife likes to read romance novels and whatnot. Found out recently she also reads fan fiction, tbh I didn't really know what that was. She said they are romance stuff people write about different TV shows, movies etc. Cool, to each their own. However, her iPad died and she used mine for a few days. She was reading some fan fiction on my iPad. I read the one she didn't close out of and boy oh boy it's interesting. Incest talk, animal sex toys. I was shocked. Decided to read some other ones that were in my internet history. More of the same. And I do not know how I feel about it. People who read erotic stuff. Do you usually read stuff you like, or just anything that passes the time? As someone who reads, and writes, fanfiction this could go one of two ways. Either she is concerningly into these things. Or she simply likes the way the primary ship is written and doesn't really care so much about the contents. Believe me, any experienced fanfiction reader has read some fucked up shit in their time simply because the main relationship is written really well with some good interaction. There was a period where the erotic literature was filled with bestsellers in the I want to fuck dinosaurs genre. It's harmless, fantasies are just that. Not your proudest moment's humanity, but whatever. Just ask her? I read stuff like this before because it's funny, hilarious mostly, not because I'm actually into animals or anything. Many people, me included, read horror, true crime, thrillers without being serial killers. It's not always that deep. For a lot of folks into erotica, they tend to gravitate to the really taboo topics. That's kind of the appeal, the absolute naughtiness and social stigma of it all. Was she raised Catholic by chance lol? It's likely not that she wants to fuck animals or fuck her family, but rather that reading about some imaginary person doing those things is so out there and wrong. It really triggers her forbidden naughty sex synapses. It just sounds like your partner had some fantastical interests, very much detached from the real world. If you want to engage with her about this topic, honesty and compassion are always good things, but it is ultimately about her fantasies and her sexuality. Don't read too much into it. Some fanfiction is crazy, but it doesn't mean it does anything for her sexually necessarily. It's hard to describe. I'm finding those type of stories surprisingly common in fanfiction. I don't read them on purpose, but I've clicked on a few by accident because it took me a while, as some are clearly marked and some aren't. Talk to her if it worries you. She will likely be mortified, but it's worth it if it unsettles you. Yeah, when I watch porn videos of mom and daughter fuck stepdad, do you think I like incest? Lol nah bro, that's normal with shit like that. It's just what's available sometimes. Come on, go on Brazzers. Tell me the top videos aren't about incest. Longtime erotic reader here, and no, what I read does not always equate to what I would actually participate in real life. Like I read a 20-plus book series about blue aliens with foot-long penises. A month or so ago there was one about a minotaur at a milking farm. They're all just stories, nothing more.